Hello everyone, welcome to Member 365's webinar on Workspaces. I'm Kaya Els, Member 365's knowledge base expert, and I will be your host for today's webinar. Today we'll be going over two different types of workspaces. One is a general workspace, and one is attached to a committee. We will learn how to create both workspace types and the capabilities within each workspace that a member or a committee member would have. Wrapping up, we'll have time for any questions, so if you do have any, please type them in the chat box located to the bottom right corner of your screen and I'll answer them after. Before we jump into the software, I want to point out how there are two different types of workspaces, like I mentioned. They're created in two separate places within Member 365. This all depends on who is going to be using the workspace and what you are creating it for. A general workspace would be for a group of members or contacts. Maybe there isn't any pressing topics, or maybe it is a resource for them to see certain documents such as meeting minutes or future event ideas. This is a space for members to come, be engaged within the organization. You just want a place that they can collaborate and communicate with one another, share thoughts, or even receive information. A committee workspace, on the other hand, is a workspace that is attached to a specific committee that each member would hold their own roles. For example, a chair of a committee. So this is for a specific group of members, such as the board of directors or an event committee. Knowing a little bit more about the different workspaces that we're going to create. So let's start with the creation of a general workspace. To create this, it's going to be a little different because we're actually going to be logged in as a member of Member 365, which is different because we're typically logged in as an administrator. So right now I'm logged in as a member to the member portal, but keep in mind, since you are an administrator, you're going to have more options than a regular member would have. So for example, you are able to manage badges here. You're able to edit this greeting. And another thing, the main thing that we're going to focus on is this administration button right here. And this is how we're going to start creating a workspace. So here you'll notice some different settings for workspaces. You can manage them here and also even delete them over here. Make any edits to them if you need to. And of course what we're doing is creating one. So I'm going to click Create Workspace. And this starts with entering all the workspace details and settings. So what I've done, which is pretty typical for me in the webinars, I go ahead and I create a Word document with most of the information just so we can create it in a more efficient manner. So my workspace is going to be specifically for gold members. So every gold member that is in my organization will be able to come in here and either post files or post discussions and comments and just communicate with one another. So I named it Gold Members Only, something pretty straightforward. And now I'm going to look at the category. You're able to organize workspaces, so almost think of a category as a file folder category. When you're looking for a certain workspace, you can find it more easily. So I'm going to assign Gold Members as my category, and you can even create new categories if you'd like. For the description, I'm just throwing something in there. It's a good idea to put in what you are expecting of your members in the description. So like I mentioned, I want them to be able to share files, post discussions, and comments. So therefore, they're able to really talk about what they want. There are other workspaces that you can create, such as a knowledge-based workspace, giving them information of what they may need to do. Now we have the workspace settings. So I'm just going to go through explaining what each one of these means, and there are a few things to configure, And this is all dependent on what you want your members to be doing and what you're going to allow them to do. So the first one, we have auto bookmark for all members. That means that this is going to be displayed on the member portals of every single member in this workspace. Enable discussions. This allows discussion boards in the workspace. So this isn't saying that every single member can post in this workspace, but it's saying that there's a discussion board in the workspace, and later we're able to give access to who can post. The same goes for the file library. So it enables file uploads, which people can download files or share files. Enable events. Almost look at this as an advertisement for your events. So in your workspace at the bottom, there will be a little box that says upcoming events and an option to register right there. Enable directory. Having this turned on, a directory is displayed in the workspace of every member within the workspace. And lastly, we have force notification. Clicking this, you can specify how many times you'd like to be notified when somebody posts or uploads something in the workspace. You can have it instant, daily, weekly, monthly, or never. This will be sent to your email. Access assignment is assigning members to the workspace. So here specifically, you can choose by organization name, by organization group, by member category subscription. Since mine is for gold members, this is what I want to use. You can even do by event registration or by contact demographic. And here's where you're able to say if they're able to edit the description, upload any files, or post discussions. I'm going to remove edit descriptions, but edit descriptions is great if you have a mediator to the group, because once you have a lot of workspaces going, it's hard to manage all of them. So later I'll show you how you can add an individual in here that is able to edit the descriptions. And they can therefore act as a mediator. So I'll click add. And now all my gold members are able to have access to the workspace, as well as they can upload any files within it and post discussions. File category is similar to a category, except instead of organizing the workspace, you're organizing the files within the workspace. So you can add any here if you'd like. We'll continue to step 2, which is again, assign access. And this is where you could specify a mediator or even add in other individuals that want to be a part of the workspace you're creating. So for mine, I want to include Jennifer Anderson, and I'm going to let her edit the description. So she's going to be the mediator of my group. So that's how you would create a general workspace. So now that we've done this, we're going to actually go in and include a workspace in a committee. To add this, you must be logged in as an administrator. So I'm just going to switch over my tabs. Right now I'm logged in as an administrator to Member 365, and I'm going to go to Modules and Committees. Here you can create a new committee, specify committee roles. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a committee that is already created, the event committee. And here we just have an overview of it. It'll have the name, the description. And the next tab you'll see is Workspaces. Right now it's toggled off. You can toggle this on, which will allow every single member in the committee to have access to the workspace. I've already put in the details here, but we can go over it. So I've named the workspace Event Planning. I've posted the workspace message. So it's just a welcome message when somebody first appears on the workspace of this committee. It's basically like the description. And then we also have the workspace settings again. For a committee, it's not a bad idea to set specific notifications, since it might be important to the people within the committee if they need to know when a certain file has been uploaded or if they need to know what the chat is about. It's the same deal though as the other workspace, it's just a few less steps. So for this instance, it doesn't ask you if the committee members can post discussions or upload files, because since they are in a committee, they already have that responsibility that they can do it anyways. After entering all your details of your workspace and your committee, you can click Save. And yeah, that workspace will have a committee. We're going to hop back over to Member just to see what we can do within a committee, or sorry, in a workspace, I should say. So here, I'm logged in as a member, and I'm going to click on Workspaces. All of my workspaces are going to be populated, including the categories that they're in. So here's some of the committees as well. Here's the category Gold Members, and here's the Gold Members Only group that we just created. So I'll go into there. I can post a new topic, and here's that event that I was speaking of earlier. It's just like a free ad to your members. All of your information for the specific workspace will be on the side, including the directory, the notifications. You can change the settings here. If you want to bookmark it, you can do that here. And that'll just show it right on the member's dashboard. So as soon as they sign in, the workspace will be displayed. You can easily see the discussion board or the file library. When you go to post a new topic, you post the subject of the topic, Make Sticky will ensure that this is always the top of the discussion or the workspace. So as soon as somebody signs on, they will see this first if I choose to make it sticky. So if you have a certain topic that you want your members in the workspace to be focusing on, you would make that sticky. And then just click Post. So now people are able to add comments under this. Let's look at uploading a file. Here you can choose another category or add one and choose your file. You can upload any files. We see this being used a lot as meeting minutes. So anything that happened in a meeting, they'll upload all the files here or the agenda here. And then therefore people can go and either discuss the meeting or look over the notes. It really all depends on your organization. We'll click into committees and check out how a committee views it as well. So right now I'm going into a committee and I have a role in this committee. And here I can easily post workspaces. It has my description here and all of the same settings, with an option, of course, to upload a file. So that is all for the Workspaces webinar today. Thank you so much for joining me today on Member 365's Workspaces webinar. If you have any more questions, please consult our knowledge base at support.member365.com. Or if you have any immediate questions, please contact support@member365.com. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.